Yeah, thanks, Jesse. Um, I think the challenge now is, what is it that uh, the developing countries should do in terms of writing the balance. Uh, it appears, as you're saying, that there is a lot of pressure, and the culprits are now seen as, like China and India. Yesterday, I attended a side event, and and this was by the Third World Network, and they were describing how, and asking whether China is a developing country or not, considering the fact it's now considered as an emerging country and one which is, emitting the most. And then if you looked at China on the GDP, on the human development index, it is very, very low, something like 90 plus in a total of about 180 odd countries. So the question is now, what is it that one, civil society can do, and what is it that faith-based groups should do in this context and in this situation?
Yes, thank you for that question. I would say this, that first of all, we have to emphasize on sustainable livelihoods. The calculations in gross domestic product or gross national product do not tell the whole story. If you take, for instance, a community that is living in a particular village in a rural area or in an informal settlement in a particular city anywhere in the world, and you compare that with a neighborhood which is very rich and high-end in a particular country, in a city, or even in a suburb, you will see that one is living excessively luxuriously, while the other is not able to survive at all. And it seems to me that there is scope and exemplary action if we can emphasize on sustainable livelihoods for communities. I personally have been involved in this for the last 30 years, and I know that it can be done. Just one example. The consequences of global warming are that droughts are going to be longer and more severe. And when the rains come, they'll be short and they'll be very, very heavy. So there'll be flooding. If it were possible to harvest the rainwater when the rains come, then it is possible for these communities to be able to use that water during the long droughts. And that water is not only going to be for domestic use, but also for agriculture. This kind of initiative will probably not come from governments. It will probably not come from industry, but it will have to come from the faith communities and from the NGOs. Talking about politicians, I know now, not just in Africa, but everywhere in the world, politicians want to be associated with success. And when something is failing, they want to dissociate themselves with it. I think exemplary action has to come from the leaders, and the leaders are going to come from the faith communities and from the